Oh God, we've both been parts of so many podcasts and shows. Why have we had audio issues? We're recording right now. This is our second attempt at this. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jeff.
And
we're still trucking along. We're doing it.
You don't know what that means.
We're making something.
My stars, do we ever know what it means?
Hey, speaking of my stars.
Oh!
See how I segued that?
Segue, man.
I wanted to ask you about something because, Anthony, you are a man of science.
Sure.
I have seen you on the inner tubes talking about science. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I would watch that show, you on an inner tube talking
Me on an inner tube, just like going down a lazy river. Just like, let me tell you guys what I think about dark matter. Just
First
sipping
of all,
a beer.
as relaxed as you could be.
Yeah.
Just talking about science.
Just
anyway.
Chilling in some board shorts.
As I read this article this morning that I read on Twitter about the Fermi Paradox. Uh-huh. The Fermi Paradox says that mathematically speaking, there are so many stars in our galaxy, and so many of those stars have planets. And the likelihood of there being planets that are like Earth is so, just mathematically, probability speaking, even if you take the tiniest fraction of those planets being Earth-like,
yeah,
would be so many of them that it is wildly illogical to assume that there isn't other intelligent life or other life out there in the universe. The latest Kepler, Kepler has been searching for exoplanets that could support life, and the new estimate, or the most recent estimate that was released, was 60 billion planets in the Milky Way are potentially supporting life in a way that we would recognize. Yeah. And since the universe has been around so long, mm-hmm. the chances of us being the first to have progressed this far is so remote that we should be aware.
Herein lies the paradox.
Where are the other species?
Why haven't we heard from anyone?
Where are they? Why have we're listening? We have SETI listening for radio waves.
Yep. We have Voyager out there.
How is it possible that we are not aware of anyone? And this article kind of broke down all of the possible theories for the answer to the paradox.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest and best answer is also the most boring answer, which is just like, mathematically, it's real hard to be pointed in the same direction, looking in the same way at the same time that you're going to be receiving some sort of communication from these people, or whatever they are. It's just, we sent Voyager out, and Voyager has got the golden record, and it's sending out all this information about us. But you can only send Voyager in one direction, and Voyager is the size of a satellite, and Voyager is going out into the universe, which is, as far as we can tell, infinite, in one direction, this tiny speck. And so if you think about that, even if all of these civilizations sent out their own tiny specks, like, what are the odds? Like, what are the odds, man? So that's the easy answer.
This article that I read talked about the three stages of the three classifications of civilization. Stage one classification is you have harvested, you have utilized 100% of the energy on your planet.
Yes. So
based on that scale, Carl Sagan says we are a 0.7 civilization because we're at 7/10 of the way to harvesting our entire planet's energy resources. Then the next stage of civilization is you have utilized all of the energy in your solar system. Mm-hmm. And the third civilization, which is vastly superior to anything we could even fathom, is you have harvested, you have utilized all the energy in your galaxy. But the odds, they say, that is because the universe is so old that some civilization did that, they should be able to either see us, talk to us, visit us.
But you're also talking about such a huge scale of time.
Right.
Which is the other thing.
Well, that's one of Carl Sagan's theories, is that maybe other beings in our galaxy perceive time in a different way. So, for example, it might take them 15 years to say hello.
Well, see, here's the thing. That's what I love, is we start getting, with the Fermi Paradox, you start getting into all this. Everybody immediately jumps into sci-fi stuff.
Like, well, it's nothing but sci-fi,
But totally. But that's the thing, is like, for me, the universe has been around so long. It is so infinitely huge. Civilizations come and go. For me, it's just a mathematical thing. Like, what are the odds that we would actually be talking at the same time? But I love that there are all these different things that come into play where it's like, okay, well, there are other civilizations out there, but nobody else is talking because there's one master civilization out there that goes around destroying any civilization that could challenge it.
Galactus.
And yeah, it's basically Galactus. And if Galactus hears you on your shortwave radio, he comes and he wipes you out of existence because only Galactus can survive.
Yes, and there's this big debate going on right now at SETI because people want to do METI. I think it's METI, where they, instead of SETI is just listening, but METI, it would be sending, actively shouting into the wilderness that is space.
Yeah.
And even Carl Sagan said before he died, that would be a profoundly idiotic thing for us to do because it's basically like wandering into the forest, not knowing who lives there and going, I'm alive! Look at me!
Stephen Hawking is completely against all communication elsewhere. Stephen Hawking is like, don't find him. Don't listen for him. Don't talk to him. Definitely don't poke him in the eye. Don't like make a face at them that they'll take. Just don't, man. Because the odds are if they are advanced enough to get our signal and come for us, they're going to come to slap us around. They're going to come for our resources. They're going to come for our jobs.
But
they will. The aliens want our jobs.
We need to build an intergalactic fence.
Yeah. around space Mexico.
That's right.
That will keep all the space Mexicans.
Oh, God. Transitioning away from
Transitioning away from the space Mexican problem, which we cannot transition away forever, Jeff Canada. We have got to talk about the space Mexican problem.
we don't need to.
Transitioning away, my favorite part of the Fermi Paradox and talking about the Fermi Paradox is actually something called the Great Filter. Which I think was highlighted heavily in that article.
Indeed.
And the Great Filter has to do with timing, like I was talking about, but it also has to do with, look, man, you can scream at an ant as much as you want.
Right.
That ant doesn't know that you're screaming at it.
Right. And we are the ants in that scenario.
Well, are we? That's the idea of the Great Filter. We could be above or below this line of actual intelligence.
Well, the Great Filter says there is a demarcation point. If no one has contacted us and we can't see any signs that there's ever been anybody, there might have been just this line that says, after this point of progression, of evolution, technological evolution, either you're wiped out, or it's highly improbable that you got past this line. So either we've already passed it, we have yet to pass it, or what's the third one? There's a third one. There's either we passed it in just becoming self-aware, or we passed it in just becoming multi-celled organisms, which means that
that's the biggest one. I think, because here's the thing. You're talking about a law of averages, right? You're talking about how far do most civilizations get, and are you above or below that bar? From what we've seen, to find even single-celled organisms is an issue. Right? Like, we haven't even found that.
Well, that's why all the scientists say if we actually found multi-celled organisms, it'd be profoundly bad news, because it would mean that the Great Filter is ahead of us rather than we haven't passed it yet, meaning we're likely to wipe ourselves out. Yeah. Because every civilization has forever, because that's why we don't see them, because they wiped themselves out.
And I think that's my favorite part of the theory, and I think that's what I like the most is the Great Filter, because it's really
terrifying.
It's not, though, is it? I don't think it is. I think it's cool to think that, number one, we're either killing it. Like, we're just killing it. Like,
or we're killing it.
Or
we're killing ourselves.
We have so far to go. Like, I love the idea of that. There's something out there that's so much more advanced than us that we can't even fathom it. We can't even put it together in our heads. We could be seeing it every day. We could be those little guys in the jar in the Twilight Zone that the kid made for their science experiment, and he could be looking at us every day. Right. And we don't even know. I think that's rad.
Yeah, the analogy that was in this article that blew my mind was like when Columbus landed on the new shores of America, right? did he stoop down and check out the anthill that was happening and like make sure the ants knew he was there and try to explain to them what he was exploring? No, he didn't. It would, but so beneath his notice that he just kept moving.
And look,
and that's what we might be.
If he stomped on those ants, they didn't see it coming.
Right.
They didn't know what it was.
So you're happy to be stomped on.
The surviving ants, but we haven't been stomped on.
Yet.
Look, dude, we're gonna get stomped on. Whether we get stomped on by a more advanced civilization, whether we get stomped on by just our sun aging and destroying it, we're only a few billion years out from getting stomped. The fact that we've made it this far is really, really rad.
I just worry that the Great Divide, what's it called?
The space fence.
Yes. The
great filter.
The great filter. I always want to call it the Great Divide. The great filter means that we are destined to destroy ourselves. That's what scares me.
No. It doesn't mean that you're destined to destroy yourself. That's a really fatalistic look at it.
It is.
What it means is most intelligent life in the universe only gets so far for whatever reason. It's like hearing that the life expectancy 150 years ago was 35, right? It doesn't mean that people only lived to 35 and then they died. Like some people lived to 70, some people lived to whatever. Well, you're talking about things like infant mortality rates. You're talking about things like diseases. There is an average life expectancy for all of us individually. There's also an average life expectancy for a species. And we're just another species. It doesn't mean that Galactus is going to come in. The Silver Surfer is going to come knocking on our doors being like, you got 7 days to pack your shit. Galactus is coming.
Right.
That's not what it means. It means
although that would be cool.
It would be great. But it's still going to be handled by Fox Studios right now. So
not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Wish for that yet. Like, wait for that to lapse. But what I'm saying is, like, it just means there's an average. And we're either above average, which means we're killing it, or we're below average, which means cool. We've probably got a lot further to grow before we die out. There's nothing terrible about this. There's nothing terrible about me looking at you going, Jeff Kanata, one day you'll be dead. Like, that's not terrible. It's a fucking fact.
It's a party pooper kind of thing to say.
Thing to say.
No, it's not.
And I apologize for that being what I said to you when we first sat down at the table.
I wish you hadn't printed up that shirt that says it on it.
I'm wearing it right now. Jeff Kanata will die. That's not me threatening you. That's just me stating a fact. One day, Jeff, as my shirt says, you will be dead.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to happen in a terrible way.
But it doesn't. I don't think the thing that you're taking is true either, in the sense that it doesn't mean it's far away.
No.
The Great Divide could be Thursday.
It could be.
It could be like every civilization lasts until next Thursday, galactically speaking.
Every single one.
Yeah. And we just didn't know. We just didn't know that on Thursday, 5 billion years into our existence.
But you don't need an article on the Fermi Paradox to tell you that. You don't need an article on the Great Filter to tell you that. You should know, waking up every morning as a human being, that we have no clue when things are going to end.
Especially when you wear that shirt.
You don't need an article to be like, galactic civilizations may have only made it this far. Because number one, what galactic civilizations? Don't even worry about that. We haven't even found any.
I worry about that all the time.
You're worrying about hypotheticals. And number two, like me knocking on your door every morning going, hey, Jeff, just so you know, everything could end any day. Like if I did that to you every day, you'd be like, dude, okay, we get it. Like there's no point in that.
To be honest, I would admire your commitment level. I would be impressed with the level of discipline.
I would have a beautifully lettered sandwich board and a bell, and I'd just walk back and forth outside your house.
I'd offer you sandwiches, just
the front would say the end is nigh, and the back would say parenthetical for Jeff. No, but I do think you're to turn it into a ghost story, like the hook is still on the door or something like that. Like I wouldn't worry about. There's no.
I'm not actively worried about it. I'm just saying. What do you believe?
Based on everything we've found, like based on actual physical evidence, I have to believe that we are ahead of the Great Filter. But based on things like the Drake equation and just the new Kepler discoveries and just math, I have to believe that we are below the Great Filter.
Here's the bummer if we're ahead of the Great Filter.
If I was a lawyer, if I was a science lawyer right now, I would have to say.
By the way, Anthony Carboni, science lawyer. needs to happen.
And when he needs to think, he gets on an inner tube and goes down a lazy river and just sips a beer and he's like, that's it.
Yeah.
And runs back to the courtroom in board shorts and a tie.
I like that. And I'm like your assistant who's all business. And I'm like, Anthony, you have to buckle down. The big case is coming up next Thursday.
You're like the Indian kid to my Van Wilder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony,
listen, don't worry about it, man. In the end, we're all going to get laid and we're going to learn something about life. And that's what Anthony Carboni, science lawyer, is all about. But if I was Anthony Carboni, science lawyer,
this practice is hemorrhaging money, Anthony.
Yeah, but look at the sweet mini golf course we have. Science rules. Anthony Carboni, science lawyer. If that's who I was right now, I would have to say, based on evidence, I have nothing to say that we are below the great filter because we haven't found anybody else.
Right. Well, that's where I'm conflicted.
We are actively looking. There's a difference between people above the great filter not being able to communicate with us because we're below it. We can't communicate with ants, but we can see the anthill. We're actively looking right now for things. If something comes up, if there's a single cell organism that we can find, we're going to see it. And we won't be able,
But that's what's so conflicting about this information for me is I have always wished for that amazing discovery to happen in my lifetime. I want it will. But that might mean terrible news for us. That might mean the great filter is ahead of us instead of behind us, and it might spell doom for our species.
This might be naive for me, but I don't see this as a Star Trek the motion picture thing. Where the thing that we sent out comes back, and it's visited super intelligence, and it comes back and it wants us all dead now.
No, it's not. It's not that. Is what they're saying is.
No, what I'm saying is I don't think by sending things up, I don't think somebody's going to come and boot stomp us. I don't see that being the end.
No, that's not my worry either. But I'm saying that if we determine that if we find evidence of single cell organisms on Mars, that means that the preponderance of life in the galaxy is so much more common than we even imagined. Like if there was life on Mars, it means that there is so much life in the galaxy that we are really screwed because where is everybody?
Why does it always end with us being screwed? Why does it always end with us being screwed? Listen, the exoplanet that we've found that is most like Earth, most likely to support Earth-like life is 2.5 light years away, man. You know what I mean?
That's nothing for class 3 civilizations.
It doesn't mean that we're screwed. It could just mean everybody's real far away, bro. We're just not there yet. Where is everybody? What's going on? Why are they? I'm not panicking. Just be cool, man.
I'm just preparing to panic.
Just be cool. That's the thing. If we find it, and if we find something on Mars,
I always thought that was good news.
Captain Mohawk and the rest of the team finds a single-celled organism on Mars, it's hell yeah, we found it.
I mean,
There's so much out there.
I'll be honest with you. That would be great news for the firm because I'm sure there would be a lot of legal issues regarding that scientific discovery,
sure.
And we'd work it all out. There'd be precedent-setting cases that you could litigate, and it would bring in a lot of money for the firm.
I don't even know what the laws are about buying legal commercials and billboards on Beetlejuice.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
But we'll figure it out.
Gotta figure that out.
Well, you'll do some good tube thinking.
Uh-huh.
You'll go to your happy place and you'll think it through while I manage the store. I make sure there's enough pencils for when you get back and write down your theories.
I'm going to look down and it's going to be Jeff, you've actually stopped biting your fingernails. Those are mine.
Hey, man.
Run out of fingernails.
If somebody's got to worry about this firm making ends meet, and if you're not going to worry.
I like that I like that in a universe where we find evidence of extraterrestrial life, somehow our roles in human life flip, and all of a sudden I'm Fred and you're Shaggy. I like that that's what happens.
Zoinks.
Right now, Jeff Kanata is cool, lantern jaw, laid back guy. And I'm nerdy Coke bottle glasses. I'm worried about getting in my car every day. But the moment we find
that's all.
Extraterrestrial life.
Up is down, black is white, dogs and cats living together.
Pirate ghosts.
That's what happens.
That's what happens to you.
It's all upsy downsies at that point.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, even if we find things. I think it's going to be cool, man. I think finding it, you know what it's like? It's going to be like Spies Like Us. No, it's not going to be Spies Like Us. It's the other one with Jim Belushi and John Ritter, where they find the aliens, and the aliens ask them if you want the good package or the big weapon.
I don't know what that is.
You've never seen that?
I might not have.
It's a great one.
I'm a big Ritter fan.
But I think aliens are going to come. They're going to be like, what up? We're going to be like, what up? It's going to be all copacetic. It's going to be a big party.
High fives.
Yeah, we're going to have an office party at the firm. We're going to have an open bar. I'm going to take.
How are we going to afford that? You always want to have the big open bar. Listen.
There's no business yet, Jeff. But once those aliens land, we are the only ones that are going to be operating in this area.
All I'm saying is...
I'm not even a lawyer yet, but I'm telling you.
Aliens can buy their own drinks. That's all I'm saying. They can afford their own drink. If they're a class 3 civilization...
The name of the movie was Real Men.
Oh, I did not see that.
And at the end, all the aliens want is a glass of water. I'm going to take them tubing. I'm going to show them a whole river.
A whole river. But M. Night Shyamalan said that aliens hate water, so... There's that. What if water is their mortal enemy? Spoiler for that movie.
Spoiler for that movie? Yeah. Spoiler for Signs, just in case?
I just spoiled Signs. See, but if you say spoiler for that movie, only the people that have seen that movie know it's...
I'm really sorry about the spoiler for the John Ritter and Jim Belushi 1987 film Real Men. I'm sorry if I spoiled that for anybody out there.
I think
What's the great filter for movie spoilers, Jeff?
Oh, that's a good point. Are we past it? Have we progressed past the great filter for movie spoilers?
I think the great filter for Shyamalan movies is when he started spoiling them himself. That's the great filter.
Did he do that?
He started spoiling his own movies.
Oh, by making them terrible.
By making them. And that's the great filter of Shyamalan movies.
Listen, I defended that guy. So we're already on the
other side of that filter. And I would like to think that, yes, he has destroyed himself.
I defended that guy until Last Airbender, and then that was when I was like, that's the last straw for me. I'm sorry. Last Airbender, too amazing.
And yet you're so mad at me because I think Transformers is fine as a movie, the first one.
It's terrible.
When the aliens come,
be they robots,
when the revolution comes, you will be the first against the wall, Jeff Cannata. I will make sure of it.
What? How dare you?
He's scared and he hates family fun.
How dare you? I'm protecting families and our civilization.
That robot had a sword.
Listen,
the Camaro and the kid were friends. You don't even know.
I'm gonna take away your. You're gonna get disbarred from science law, as far as I'm concerned.
Whatever. This is a thing we're trying.
Clearly, we have no idea what it is.
We don't know what it is.
But it sure is fun.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about it. You can just tweet at us. I'm at a Carboni.
At Jeff Cannata with 2 N's and 1 T.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Maybe we'll do some more of these. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some more. Transformers is great. We're out.